Good morning, and today's going to be we are in early position. We open raise and we get one caller from the button. He's a short stack, only has 48 remaining after this call. Let's take a look at ranges. Early position, pretty standard. This guy, I put together a tighter range. We've got 52 hands on him, playing about 35%. He's called two bets from the bottom with 10, 7, 8, 6. I don't know where he's called those. Is that big blind, small blind, or whatever? It looks like maybe small blind. Overall, you could see early position, mid position, blinds, and so forth are fairly high, but the cutoff or button is pretty low. Pre-flop called, big blinds, buttons low. He could be just getting some decent hands in those spots, and that's kind of skewed some of the numbers. It seems unusual that he's not really calling from the button much. 3 opportunities. This will be the 4th, and he called. 3-bet set. He's had 23 opportunities, hasn't 3-bet at all. Maybe this is a little too tight, but I'm going to go with this. This is just going to say aces, kings, and ace king. Suited Broadways, some of these connectors, and that's about it. Your pocket pairs. I think that's, if he reads me as being tight and not playing much, he's going to probably have a much tighter range. We're going to work with that. Flop comes down, ace, queen, 7. And it's on us. What do we do? I think overall, this is going to hit our range. We've got aces a bit, so does villain, but we have, he can have like ace, queen, ace, jack, 2-pair, top pair type play, but there's not going to be a massive amount of draws. You can see that we've got basically gut shots, which means any of our betting hands will have to be balanced by some of these low pocket pairs that we have, or even maybe just a no made hand. So we look at top pair. I don't think we're betting all of the top pair. I think we're probably just going to be check calling some of these weaker ones. I think ace, king, ace, jack could be a bet. I think ace, jack might be a little bit more of a check. I think we definitely go for a 2-card backdoor flush draw on some of these hands. So, like king, jack, that's a gut shot. We're going to be calling that. I think king 10 is going to be calling that for the backdoor. Jack 10, Jack 9, I think are going to be good. Probably 10, 9 as well. 10, 9 we can improve with an 8 or a jack. Probably 8's going to be a little bit better. I think a 6 could also work for us. I think we would include like 9, 8 as well. Again, kind of backdoor type stuff. So if that's kind of our betting range, I don't think a set. Oops. I think like we'll probably be betting like trip 7s, and maybe sometimes queens. I think aces possibly sometimes check call, sometimes check raise. Queens sometimes check call, sometimes check range. So maybe it's like 50-50 or so. I do think we're betting the 7s. We're gonna and sometimes checking the queens. I think that's probably how we'll do. We'll just use 50% there. Same thing, 2-pair. I think we're probably not betting all of them. We're probably betting most of them though. So if we change it down and say 2/3, we've got ace, queen, and then the rest will be a check call. That'll be good. And then that means we're probably also going to be betting this like bottom pair maybe as a bluff. We're at 44%, and that's probably about okay because we've got we're going to be ahead, but we have a slightly wider range than villain. Still, I think we need more bluffs or fewer value hands here. I do think we get like check calls with these middle pairs and such. So maybe we also toss in like 8, 9 here, or maybe pocket 9s, and that could kind of get us closer, and it still brings us up to 50%. So I think that we're going to go with that for our betting range. We checked, so let's fix these. That was 50%. All right, and we had we're going to say 33%. Change that to red. We do have check calls in those ranges. Those, we're going to be checking on those. Not betting bottom pair. And then we're going to X those. And we're going to X those. And then we're also adding those no-mate hand. So, alright, that looks like a decent checking range. Villain bets 2. So now we call, and that's a strange smallish bet. It's a strange smallish bet. Oops. So I think we're probably calling with all of these. The no-mate hands, I don't think we're going to be betting. We're going to be calling with as many. Yeah. Yeah, just looking at all of them, I think these would have been the ones that didn't have the backdoor flush draw, so the diamonds. I think we probably check fold, although on this board, this is just, the bets just seem small. The bet seems like I'm betting just because you checked, but my hand's not good, so I'm going to bet really small. Alright, so that's going to be my check calling range. Let's get his betting range. We're going to give him all the good ones. We'll give him the pairs. Small pairs, we'll give him some draws, some of these gut shots. Could be 100%. Let's check his. Oops, we're on a flop. Float. This will be the first time. We're just going to say pairs. Actually, pocket pair below the boards. We can be tighter. I'm still going to say it's a small bet. Let's just say he does it with 100% of his range. Bet small. It just seems odd. Odd that he's betting this size. And then if we call and he bets small again, I think we're going to eliminate a lot of these weaker hands. So it turns to jack. Alright, so once we checked, we're going to basically be checking again here. Villain checks behind it, and I think that's telling. So he could have bet again. We're going to eliminate the straights, the sets, the two pairs. I kind of think maybe the top pair is going to be a check behind. So we're going to give him that range, which really weakens him. At this point, we're really only scared about the ace, which he could have the ace. But I'm thinking more he's got like queen 7. He's got an under pair or something like that. So let's go to the river. 4 clubs. At this point, question is, if I bet, what can I get called with? If I bet here, I don't think he's really going to be calling with any of this. I think our play here is just to check and plan to call. Yeah, there's going to be times where maybe he hit trips with 4, but I think that's going to be our play. I don't think we're going to be leading here. I don't think we necessarily should, because even if we lead here, he's going to raise the set. He's going to raise the 2 pair. He's also going to bet those, but middle pair is probably going to call, which we beat. But all of these weak pairs, I don't think he's going to be calling. I think he's just going to fold those. But there is a chance that maybe he bets those. And for us, when we think about, well, we should be betting, we should have some of the bluffs because we can pick up the pot by bluffing. I don't really have any super weak hands. I mean, weak pair, middle pair, those are all decent showdown hands, and those are possibly hands that I can check call with. So we did go check. I think his check really kind of narrowed it down to something like this. I think we can eliminate the top pair at that point. So he shows queen 6, which I didn't have. I mean, seeing that he called queen 6 really changes his range drastically. And knowing that, then having that he has such a big range, I think at that point now we should have probably be betting this. c-betting and attack the fact that, attack and knowing that he has such a wide range. So what does GTO say? Well, I ran this with the range that he had, the tight range. So, I mean, that's what we're going for. We're going to assume that he knows what we're doing. And sure enough, yeah, we're checking 48%. We're betting about 50%. Our bet sizes are between the higher one and the lower one. Half pot isn't that great. So, what do? We are betting our sets. We do have some checks, and that's like the queen. The aces, we're actually betting a little bit more. Looks like maybe favoring the smaller size. For the queens, it's mixed. Sevens, we're definitely betting. And I bet those sets are probably check raises. Two pairs, basically a bet. Top pair here, ace king we're betting, but then we're checking all the rest. So I would kind of along the right line for that. Pocket pair below the top card basically checks. The weak pairs we're throwing in, kind of for bluffs. So eights, 8-7s, sixes. Those are balancing. We've got our gut shot, and then we have some of our backdoor straights, and you can see that we are kind of targeting our backdoor flushes. We're targeting those hands that could also back into a straight as well. So I think I made the right decision to bet. Did I? Oh, yeah, I think when we worked it out, I think we were right on the decision to bet here. Where's king queen? King queen of diamonds is mostly check, but we could toss in some bets here. We don't have any backdoor flush draws, so I think the check with my actual hand is appropriate. Villain bets, and now you can see that the hands that we do have we're calling. I think we were right with our call. We do have some of these like 8s and 9s that we call, which I had like 8 and 9 as a bet. And then 10 jack, it would be a call. 10 surprising that we're not calling. Guess we block a lot. If a jack comes, it could be bad for us. But our top pair, second pair, hands are okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I think we did this okay. I think we played this okay. Jack spades comes up. We check 100%, which is kind of what I expected. And then he checks 4 clubs. And then at that point, we mostly check. We do have some bets here, which I think we target some of the 2 pair and the top pair. We just go for a little bit of value, and then we'd be balanced by a super weak pair. And you can see it, some of those super weak pairs, we do have the weak pairs. We don't really have unpaired hands, which is kind of where we're at. So we do have weak pairs that we toss in. They're going to balance our 2 pair and set, and our straight that we could have connected with, like the king 10. So we check again. He checks again. So we see it. Obviously, this is going to change when we give villain queen 6. I think as we played out, I think I played it okay. I think the check was great on the flop. The check turn, check river was fine. We won the hand, but we have to go back to his range. If he's playing a queen 6, he's probably playing something like this, something much bigger, which means he's got many more hands here in his range. Maybe a6. Something like that, and probably I'll give him my queens to 3-bet. And you can see he's got a lot more hands, which means I think on the flop we're going to be betting, instead of betting about 50%, I think we're going to be betting much higher, because he's got so many hands in his range that he's going to have to fold. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. We're back, I think, regular schedule this week. So if you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.